Chester Alan Arthur never planned to become President of the United States. In fact, few people ever imagined he would rise so high. Most saw him as a well-dressed, charming man who loved good food, fine wine, and elegant parties. He was known more for his fashion than for his ideas. But life is full of surprises, and Arthur's journey from lawyer to leader was as unexpected as it was fascinating. Arthur was born in 1829 in a small village in Vermont. His father was a Baptist preacher who believed in hard work, discipline, and strict moral rules. The family moved often, and young Chester changed schools many times. He was a quiet, intelligent boy who read a lot and developed a strong sense of independence. Eventually, he studied law and started working in New York City, where he quickly became known for his legal skills and friendly personality. In the busy streets of New York, Arthur built strong connections. He joined the Republican Party, which was growing in power after the Civil War. He became close with Senator Roscoe Conkling, a powerful political leader who controlled many government jobs in New York. This group was known as the Stalwarts. They believed in using political loyalty to reward supporters with government positions. This practice was called the spoils system, and Arthur became one of its greatest defenders. In 1871, President Ulysses Grant gave Arthur the position of collector of the Port of New York. It was one of the most important and profitable jobs in the country. As collector, Arthur controlled thousands of workers and large amounts of money. He earned a high salary and enjoyed the luxury that came with it. He wore silk shirts, had more than 80 suits, and became famous for his polished appearance. Critics called him part of a corrupt system, but Arthur believed he was simply playing by the rules of politics at the time. Despite public criticism, Arthur remained loyal to Conkling and the Stalwart cause. But everything changed in 1880 during the presidential election. The Republican Party was divided. To unite the party, they chose a compromise: James A. Garfield for president and Chester A. Arthur as his running mate. Many people were shocked. Arthur had never been elected to any office before. He was seen as a party insider, not a leader. Still, the ticket won. Garfield became president, and Arthur became vice president. But only a few months later, tragedy struck. In July 1881, President Garfield was shot by Charles Guiteau, a man who believed the Stalwarts had betrayed him. Garfield suffered for weeks before dying in September. Suddenly, Chester Arthur became the 21st President of the United States. The country was nervous. Arthur's name was linked to political corruption. People expected him to protect the spoils system and serve the interests of his old allies. Newspapers were critical, and many feared the worst. But what followed was one of the most surprising transformations in American politics. Once in office, Arthur began to change. He rejected the pressure of Conkling and other stalwarts. He started to support reform, even though it meant turning against the system that had helped him rise. One of his greatest achievements was signing the Pendleton Civil Service Act in 1883. This law created a system of competitive exams for government jobs and made it illegal to fire workers for political reasons. It was a huge step toward modern, professional government. Arthur also took steps to improve the U.S. Navy, which had become weak and outdated after the Civil War. He pushed for the construction of new steel ships and believed in a stronger, more prepared military. At the same time, he supported better treatment for Native Americans and signed laws to reduce fraud in Indian affairs. While not all of his efforts were successful, they showed that Arthur was thinking beyond politics. He surprised the public in other ways too. He opened the White House to art and music, redecorated its rooms with modern style, and even had an elevator installed. Despite his illness, he suffered from Bright's disease, a serious kidney condition. He continued to work quietly and with dignity. Only a few close aides knew how sick he really was. As the 1884 election approached, many Republicans hoped for a stronger candidate. Arthur, though still popular in some circles, was not chosen to run again. He left office in 1885 and returned to New York, where he lived a quiet life away from the spotlight. He died a year later at the age of 57, and his passing was marked with simple respect rather than loud celebration. Arthur's life was full of contrasts. He was a man of wealth who came from modest roots. He was a political insider who chose reform. He was expected to follow orders, but chose his own path.
Enjoyed the story? Support the channel. Buy me a coffee.